Hey, what's up, y'all? Just a reminder that there are no JJK leaks tonight. Chapter 266 will be dropping next week, and that is because Shonen Jump magazine itself is on break, which also means things like One Piece are going to be on break. Well, I almost said My Hero Academia, but that's over now. But anything in Shonen Jump will be on break this week. Now, because it is a break for the magazine and not the specific mangas, there's always a chance that they could still leak because those chapters are likely already completed. But I wouldn't hold your breath. We will most likely see JJK 266 next week. But it's not all bad news because I'm going to I'm going to answer a couple of JJK questions, and we've got a couple of quick announcements. The first quick announcement is that since we don't have leaks tonight, we will instead be hosting a community watch party where we are going to be continuing our adventure with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and specifically we'll be watching probably 6 to 8 episodes of part 2, starting with the first episode of part 2. So if you didn't catch the last watch party, we watched part 1. It wasn't the greatest show ever, but it was a lot of fun with everybody, and I'm told part 2 only gets way better from there. So come check this out with us tonight. Depending on where you are in the world will obviously depend on what time this will start, but this will be taking place in the Discord, and in the Discord we will have an event and a timestamp that updates for your local time zone. But we're going to be kicking off 7 p.m. Central Time in the United States if you want to just do the conversion on your own. But hope to see you guys there. And then the second quick announcement is that our community fan art contest has officially begun. There are cash prizes. We've already had our first several submissions and they are amazing. I cannot wait to see what else you guys come up with. So for all my artists out there that haven't already, join the Discord, check out the contest rules, and I would love to see what you come up with. Alrighty, y'all, and then finally for this video, I want to answer a few more questions I've gotten since Chapter 265 dropped, starting with this one from Cappy Hood, who is also a YouTube member, so shout out legend. But he says, y'all pause to read it actually, but essentially what Cappy is saying is that he can't really wrap his head around this being like the final battle, the final moment, basically considering all of these other things that are still going on. We have Yuta just, laying on the ground in Gojo's body right now. Hikari and Uruume have been playing Uno together for 3.5 months at this point, so he's just wondering like what actually happens from here. And I'm with you. I basically am on that exact same page. It clearly feels like we are being set up for like a really triumphant MC moment from Yuji here. Like, so does that mean Sukuna is about to be defeated and the story is about to be over? I don't think so. I think it's going to be we're going to have our cake and eat it too type of thing. I do think Yuji is going to come through with this domain. Will that be the end all be all of Sukuna? No. So how is he going to get out of it? I don't know. It depends on exactly how things happen here. We still know that Megami is a priority. So whatever it is that Yuji is doing probably leaves some sort of window to try and save Megami, which may leave some sort of window for Sukuna. We obviously have the merger that's been lying in wait this whole time, and I fully expect to see at least some iteration of that. So I'm with you on kind of like this feeling like the big moment, but obviously it kind of can't be because there's still things that need to happen. So I don't really have like a good guess for how it will all exactly map out, but I don't think we're quite at the end yet. Next up, we got this from the anonymous anime man who wanted to shout out RNG Kaisen, which is just another kind of section of our Discord. Some of you may be familiar with the custom curse techniques I've talked about on the channel, or that part of the Discord where we currently have the culling games going on, where people's custom curse techniques are battling against each other like in a creative writing / debate format. Well, RNG Kaisen is kind of one of the offshoots that sprung up from that community. It is also using custom curse techniques, but instead of creative writing, it's just based on like dice rolls and RNG. So more of like a tabletop system where people can fight against each other. And I am a huge D&D nerd, so I absolutely love this. But Anonymous Anime Man just wanted to shout it out, and one of its creators, Arabic, and also Sacred, who helped put a lot of this together. So shout out to you guys, and for anybody who's interested in something like that, definitely join the Discord. Check out the entire custom curse technique ecosystem. There is a lot of cool stuff going on there. Next up, Callie wants to know if I think Gojo and Geto were special grade back in hidden inventory, and specifically pre-time jump hidden inventory, so before Gojo had his awakening against Toji. And Callie is not saying do I think they are strong enough to be special grade, but if they were specifically designated special grade yet, because it is a bit iffy, like he says, because when we are first introduced to them in that hidden inventory arc, they aren't shown with a rank, and there's a moment when Geto fights Toji where there's a little scale shown and he's not quite all the way at special grade. So let me just show these panels and we'll continue talking about it. So here we've got the infamous "You Crying" scene, where Gojo first comes on screen in hidden inventory, and he's just introduced as a second year. Whereas you can see somebody like Urahime is associated with a rank when she gets her little title card. So in any case, they were deliberately being a little bit vague with this. Maybe we were supposed to wonder like how strong Gojo was at this point. And then when Geto was trying to absorb Toji's worm here, we get the little breakdown of how cursed spirit manipulation works. As long as you're 2 grades higher, it should be easy enough to absorb. And here we can see that Geto is more on the first grade, even though he is like leaning towards special. So with all of this information, I would think that yes, they are special grade in terms of strength, easily. Like even pre-awakened Gojo would be special grade, and Geto would be special grade due to his capability of, creating an army. But as far as officially designated, I don't think Geto would have been, because of this panel mostly. Like he's not quite there. So I think this is representative of like how strong he is, and he's on the way to being recognized as special grade, but not quite yet. And so leading me to Gojo, I wonder if he's in the same place. I think Gojo easily could be special grade because he is the limitless 6-size user, so he might be separate from Geto in that way and have gotten that designation before he did. But the only pushback on that is they were considered the strongest together, right? They were the strongest duo. So if one of them was special grade and one of them wasn't, I don't know if they would have had that nickname together. So for that reason, I'm wondering if Gojo was similarly in a place like this, like easily high grade 1, and it was really just a matter of making it official for when he became special grade. So to answer your question, not very succinctly, I would lean that they weren't officially special grade yet, but they easily could have been. It's mainly this panel that makes me think they weren't. Next up, your best friend asks, if Gojo was a teacher at the Kyoto school instead of the Tokyo school, which students, if any, would benefit from him being there? And this is a fun question. Let's talk about it. All right, so here's all the students for reference, and honestly, probably no one, but if anyone, I would say Toto. Now, benefit is such like a loose term that like I'm sure they could just benefit by being in closer proximity to him and like just learning like by watching things that he does type of situation. But Gojo's not a great teacher. Like, I think this was even explicitly brought up in the Sukuna fight where he uses simple domain or falling blossom emotion, one of them, and they're like, whoa, I didn't know he could do that. And it's like, yeah, he can do it. He just sucks at teaching, so he didn't show you how to do it. Plus, we know that Gojo really only takes an interest in like the insanely high potential people, for his son Megami, his son Yuji, and his son Yuta. I would say that Toto is really the only one that I think would fall under that like curiosity umbrella for Gojo. He would be like excited by his potential. But we know Toto already has a mentor in Yuki. That's not to say he wouldn't be able to learn from Gojo, but all of the rest of these I just really don't think would interest Gojo enough to where he would like actually go out of his way to try to help them. And not because he's an asshole or anything, but just because he's not that great of a teacher. So it's going to take someone special to like be able to get close enough to him to be able to learn from him, if that makes sense. So Toto, but I would love to hear y'all's opinion on this. And finally, Kakibosh here has a question about Yuji's domain, so y'all pause to read it, but he's essentially asking if Yuji's domain has, like, the shrine, the cleaver, the dismantle imbued into it, could Yuji then use blood manipulation in the domain? And I would think theoretically, yes, that would be possible, because like you say, we see Sukuna kind of juggle stuff like that with Ten Shadows and Shrine himself. So absolutely, I think it's possible. Will we see it? I don't know. It depends on if Yuji is that sophisticated with it or not, but I personally think that would be badass to see him just wielding everything in this final fight against Sukuna. And then as far as if his blood manipulation would be different from Choso's or the other cursed wombs, I definitely think he's going to have his own flair to it, but we have already seen him use blood manipulation very similarly to Choso, although Choso had to help him set it up. So if Yuji does come into his own with it, maybe he will have his unique flair similar to how we saw the other cursed wombs use it. And also, my best guess is that his arms are related to that as well, but we still don't know. All right, y'all, that's all for this one. Thank you guys so much for the questions. And don't forget to stop by our Discord tonight for our watch party. And finally, thank you for watching.